silent prayer for the troops, men and women in Iraq. I'd like to have Dennis Cerami lead us to the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Two.
The notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-10, has been complied with and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Roll call.
Freeholder Barrett.
Here.
Freeholder Polos.
Here.
Freeholder Rafano.
Here.
Freeholder Rios.
Here.
Freeholder Scott.
Here.
Freeholder Valenti.
Here.
Freeholder Director Delina.
Here. Okay, we will deviate from the regular order of business to consider one commentative resolution. Madam Clerk,
Director.
we have a motion made by Rafano, seconded by Ron Rios.
Well, we can do it.
Yeah.
You want to do it, and
Yes.
we can present it later?
You want to do it now?
Mr. Director, the family was supposed to be in attendance this evening, and they haven't arrived yet. What I would respectfully request is if we adopt it now,
We could-
and they do arrive, I could present it later? Would that be
Yes,
okay?
you can present it later, yeah.
Thank you.
Motion.
You can move on now. Motion by Rafano, seconded by Ron Rios. Roll call vote.
Freeholder Barrett.
Yes.
Freeholder Polos.
Yes.
Freeholder Rafano.
Yes.
Freeholder Rios.
Yes.
Freeholder Scott.
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Delina.
Yes, okay. So then we'll recognize Mr. Paulus when the family comes.
Thank you, Director.
Okay, is there a motion to resume the regular order of business?
Motion.
Motion by Rafano, second by Ron Rios. Anybody, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No, okay. Freeholder reports. Freeholder Carol Barrett.
Thank you, Freeholder Director. I'm happy to report that Middlesex County has received $847,000 from the American Reinvestment and Recovery Act's Homeless Prevention and Rapid Rehousing Program. These funds will be used to assist individuals and families to exit shelter programs and enter permanent housing, and to prevent individuals and families from becoming homeless through financial assistance and case management. On tonight's agenda, there are agreements with 4 agencies to provide unduplicated services for this newly created program. These agencies are making it possible to end homelessness, Infoline, Catholic Charities, and Central Jersey Legal Services. These agencies will work together to assist in the need to and help further the county's 10-year plan to end homelessness. Thank you. That's my report.
Okay, thank you. Freeholder James Paulus, Jimmy.
Thank you, Director. A couple things on tonight. In a moment, I'm going to be introducing a gentleman from Dome Tech, which is the company that does our energy audit, Mr. Eric Miller, to share with the board a little bit about the audit that was completed at our North Brunswick complex. And it's quite eye-opening to see the kind of savings that we can have if we implement some of the suggestions that have been made by Dome Tech. On a couple of other quick notes, our road department continues to do a wonderful job continuing to pave our roads throughout Middlesex County. I want to thank our road department for doing such a magnificent job on not only our municipal program but also on our county roads as well. We're getting a lot of compliments and positive feedback from our residents that the road improvements are just wonderful. So again, compliments to the staff for doing a great job there. Our transportation department continues to grow. We're constantly increasing the number of participants in our transit program. We've been out trying to explain to residents throughout the county more about the shuttle systems that we've put in place so that we can get as many people onto shuttles and utilizing mass transportation as possible, and that outreach program has been extremely successful. On the 3rd Friday of September is recognized as National POW MIA Day, Prisoners of War Missing in Action. This is something that was done a number of years ago by Congress. There are actually several times throughout the year when official facilities of our nation are requested to fly the POW MIA flag. You've probably recognized the black flag that has the insignia on it. There are actually a half a dozen or so specific times during the year when those are supposed to be flown. And tomorrow happens to be one of those days. I know there are some ceremonies in Edison and other places that I know many of the freeholders will be participating in. But in that spirit, I wanted to share a story of something that happened a number of years ago. It was about, I guess, 1976 or 1977. My mother, who was very concerned about the war and what was going on, purchased a bracelet for me. Now, some of you may remember this, some of you may not, but during the course of the war, as we had prisoners of war and soldiers who were missing in action, a group and organization got together and produced these bracelets. I'm going to hand it around to the board. These are POW MIA bracelets, and people in our country were asked to wear them to continuously remember those who were missing in action. That bracelet, I guess I wore for about 7 or 8 years. The name on that bracelet is Lieutenant John Conlon III, and the purpose again behind it was to make sure that they were remembered. You'll see stars on the side. At one point during the process, and I guess that was probably in around 1975, the Air Force, and again, he was missing on March 4th, 1966. In 1975, the Air Force made a determination that he was dead, presumed dead. They no longer were going to continue to search for him as a soldier missing in action. He was lost on March 4th, 1966, as a result of a reconnaissance mission. He was flying a bird dog. It's a low-flying reconnaissance plane and was shot down at one point. Not too sure where at that point. They certainly weren't sure exactly where it occurred. They lost radio contact, and again, never to be heard from again. So in '75, the Air Force determined that he was presumed dead. They informed the family no search would continue. Some of you may recall that Senator McCain and others began a major push to work with Vietnam to try to find soldiers who were missing in action and presumed dead, and prisoners of war. Thankfully, because the United States, the Army, and others, the congressional leaders pushed to do that, many remains of soldiers who were presumed dead and permanently missing were ultimately found. The story behind this bracelet is that in 1993, the remains of Lieutenant Conlon were actually found in Da Quang province, which is a little province in Vietnam. And it happened as a result of a Vietnamese person telling the investigators that he had remembered a plane crashing around that time in 1966. So if you think about it for a minute, it's an unbelievable story that 25 or so years later, an individual in Vietnam would remember a crash and a site where it took place. There was enough information there for them to go and search. They brought teams in and dug up the site. They found 4 teeth from Lieutenant Conlon, a pair of glasses. They found a dog tag from the other pilot who was with him. He was the co-pilot. And a couple of other pieces of information that were actually relating to the flight pattern. And they made, obviously, an immediate determination that that was the crash site and that was where his remains were. So the remains were turned over to the family. Soon thereafter, there's only one family member remaining. She still lives in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. I've actually contacted the family and spoken with them to return the bracelet. But she was very nice and said that she's received a number of them because this wasn't the only one that was made. There were others made for him as well as other soldiers. So she didn't request it and just said, I hope you pray for him and pray for all those who have never been found. So I share that with you today on the eve of what I think is still something that's very important to this country. We have soldiers out there who have given so much. We remember them at all different times, but you know, it's one thing to know that your loved one has been killed in action or wherever the situation may be, and you have closure when you have a funeral. I can't even imagine what it must be like to have someone lost in your family as a result of war and never really know. Never really know. Are they alive? Are they dead? Are they still there? Are they still somewhere? Are they a prisoner that we've never found? So I ask you tonight to think about that. Keep these people in your prayers. pray for their families, and pray for those who still have never been found. Thank you very much,
Okay,
Director. And
thank
with that,
you.
I'd like to introduce our presentation tonight, if I may. Eric, why don't you kind of come up, if you can, to the podium, because I know you're going to make a brief presentation tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the Freeholder Board authorized the execution of an agreement with the State of New Jersey several months ago to undertake an energy audit of the North Brunswick complex. Several buildings, as you are aware of, county corrections, archives, and other buildings exist there. The audit was paid for 75% by the State of New Jersey, 25% by the County of Middlesex, with a commitment by the state that if the county undertakes the recommendations that are included in the proposal and plan, the additional 25% will also be reimbursed to the county, which means we get a free audit. And it's a great program, and I compliment Gene Fox, Board of Public Utilities, for developing this great program. Just yesterday, we had an official presentation with President Fox. Actually, it was the day before yesterday. New Jersey Board of Public Utilities president came to Middlesex County. I want to thank all the freeholders who were there that day. I know a couple couldn't make it, but I know Carol was there, and Millie, and Chris, and Ronnie, I think, was there, and Blanquita was also working on other things. So I want to thank all of you for participating and being a part of that great press conference. And the president came here to highlight Middlesex County's job in doing this energy audit. We were one of the first governments to undertake the program. And she was extremely pleased with how Middlesex County is going green, and I know the freeholders heard that as well. The audit has identified a number of areas of where we can make improvements to our buildings in North Brunswick. The energy efficiency improvements, and I don't want to steal Eric's thunder, but just to highlight a couple quick things, will result in a 10% reduction in energy consumption in North Brunswick at that site, about $175,000 a year in savings, reduction of over 1 million kilowatt hours of energy usage throughout the complex, which equates to about 450 tons of carbon dioxide that we're reducing in the atmosphere. So the improvements are going to be significant. There's some cost relating to them. The board will have to consider that at a subsequent time. But I also tell them we were looking at some other opportunities of grants to utilize to make the improvements. But in the long term, there is a payback to this. The money that we invest will be paid back through the energy savings that we accrue from making these energy improvements to those buildings. Again, our consultant, Dome Tech, has done a wonderful job in putting the proposal together. And before I finally turn it over to him, let me close with one thing. One of the roles of Middlesex County, and I know all the freeholders believe this, is not only trying to make Middlesex County government greener and trying to make our government more sustainable, but educating our communities and our schools to do the same. I think we've been doing a good job, and I would just share this with you. The President indicated yesterday that there are 260 applications for these energy audits throughout the state. 163 of them are from Middlesex County. So I want to compliment all the school districts, municipalities who are really taking the lead to try to implement these audits, learn what they need to do, ultimately, hopefully do the improvements as well. But it's a staggering statistic to know that more than half of the applications for energy audits are just from this county alone. So again, compliments to all of our locals, and with that, I'll turn it over to Eric Miller from Dome Tech. Eric?
Thank you, Freeholder. Thanks, everyone, for having me back. I think when we last met, we were on the front end of the summer, and I'm a little sad to say we're on the tail end of the summer, but during that time, we've been extremely busy, and you are, in fact, the first county to get into and get all the way through this program, which since its inception really has taken off unbelievably, and I can certainly attest to that we're as busy as we've ever been. And while we have seen a little bit of a slowdown earlier this year on the private side, having public sector programs like this, especially in the energy field, really has been quite impressive. And New Jersey has always been a very progressive and innovative and committed state to helping its constituents to save energy. So it's nice to know that the county here is the first through the program, and the queue has become quite substantial since your involvement.
Eric, before you go on further, I just want to mention so the audience knows as well, most of the freeholders were at the meeting yesterday. Eric gave a very detailed presentation to us and local officials, so I might ask tonight, in the interest of time, that we try to focus on some of the specific highlights as we kind of move through the presentation.
Yeah, I mean, we can keep it as informal as you like, and just talk a bit about the process and the results, and I'm happy to just answer any questions that anyone has. We had a great event Tuesday. I was happy to be a part of that. Nice to have the visibility for the county, and unfortunately, I had to follow two difficult acts, Freeholder Polis and President Fox, but I think it went very well, and hopefully we'll see some press out of that in the media in the days to come. So with that, our charge here was to evaluate only the facilities on the North Brunswick campus, not all county facilities, but that's where the county elected to begin its study. And to recap a little bit about the scope here, and what I brought with me, 3 copies of the final report, so I just thought you might be able to peruse the report while we were talking, so I didn't mean to not bring one for everyone, but just you can make a pass through it as we're talking here tonight. The vast majority of the energy that's consumed at that campus is consumed at the corrections facility, probably about to the tune of 80% of the energy consumption and cost is in the corrections facility, together with the juvenile facility as well, represent about 90% of the cost at that facility. So the total energy costs at the site are approximately $1.6 to $1.7 million over the course of the 1-year period for the data that we had, which was a recent 1-year period. 70% of that is electric costs, about 30% of that is natural gas costs. So that's about the order of magnitude of what you spend on an annual basis to run these facilities in energy. Our goal was to several-fold, to first of all benchmark these facilities so you have an idea of how are we doing as a county, how is the performance of these facilities relative to other county facilities. So what you have in this report is an understanding of where you are today in terms of the energy efficiency of these facilities. We came through with our engineering team and looked at the systems and the equipment and the processes and the operations, all that are affected here at this campus. And what we found were many different opportunities and measures that can reduce the operating costs here at the site if they are implemented. They range pretty widely in terms of several of which are operational type improvements that can be done with the folks that are already employees of the county. The staff at that campus is extremely competent, and we didn't bring back a whole lot that they're not already thinking about and already aware of, but it certainly does help to have the hard data in terms of if I were to pursue this project or that project, about how much is it going to cost me, about how much is it going to save me in terms of energy and emissions reductions, and if I pursue it, are there any rebates available or other funding opportunities available now. There's a lot going on in the energy industry. There's a lot of money available through the federal government. There are no shortage of programs here in our state. So with some energy and some focus, there certainly is a lot to be taken advantage of, and this should be considered the first step in a long process. And I know this is one initiative of many that the county has undertaken. So for this campus in particular, you now have a roadmap and a listing by simple payback of all of the measures that were found during the course of the audit. So some of those measures, just to give you an idea, are more capital intensive in nature, things like upgrading the lighting systems, changing out some of the HVAC equipment, pumps, motors, upgrades, controlling the speed of variable motors. Not to get too technical. I'm not the guy here that's going to get too technical anyway, but those are more of the capital type projects that are will drive energy savings and have a big impact there at that campus. The total impact, should everything that we've found be implemented over the course of the next several months and even few years, represents approximately 10% reduction in energy and in cost at the site. So you have the opportunity to save to the tune of about $170,000 per year at that site should you implement the recommendation. So I mean, with that, I suppose I can take some questions. If you have any questions about the process, program, the study itself, I'm happy to.
Does anybody have any questions? Nobody? Anybody? Looks like you did a good job.
Thank you.
They don't have any questions.
Glad to be a part of it.
Nobody? Okay, Jim?
I guess not. Eric, I want to thank you very much, and to the director to request that the board consider putting a resolution on for the next meeting, the first meeting in October, accepting the report.
So we'll get a resolution for the next meeting, right?
Yes.
October?
Motion.
Motion by Chris Rufano, second by Ron Rios. Roll call vote.
Freeholder Barrett,
Yes.
Freeholder Polos,
Yes.
Freeholder Rufano,
Yes.
Freeholder Rios,
Yes.
Freeholder Scott,
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Delina.
Yes.
May I make one other request, Director?
Yeah, sure.
I'd appreciate if a letter could go from your office to the president of the BPU, thanking them for the program. So often we're asking them for money and grants. Maybe we don't take enough time to say thank you as
Okay,
well.
make sure you get a note to, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Our next report will come now from Freeholder Ron G. Rios from Carteret.
I'm sorry.
Chris, you're not going to do yours now, are you?
Yeah, yes.
All right,
Yeah,
what are you
okay.
going to get, 2 shots or what? Okay, go ahead.
Thank
We're going
you,
to get Deputy Director Chris Rufano.
Thank you, Director. A couple things to report. The governor's been in Middlesex County a couple times these past week or so. I had the pleasure to serve as the Master of Ceremonies for a bill signing on Sunday, September 13th. One of the bills was sponsored by 2 local assembly people, Peter Barnes and Patrick Dignan from the 18th Legislative District. And that bill is called Troops to College. And the purpose behind it is, requires all county, state universities and colleges to have one location, one place that a veteran can go to find support, what programs are available, what aid is available to the veteran, as opposed to having to go to a bunch of different locations or even try to find the information. I think it's a great bill, and now a law. It's also going to be online for the veteran, too. At that ceremony, I had a chance to speak, but Freeholder Valenti, Freeholder Scott, and Freeholder Carol Barrett were also there, so certainly thanks for being there. Also, the governor appeared at our one-stop career center in New Brunswick to unveil a new program that he is running, and the program is called Return to Work, and what it does is they give employers up to $2,400 to train workers for jobs that pay at least $15 an hour, and these new hires cannot replace any existing workers and must be kept for at least 6 months. They anticipate that program will help 3,000 to 4,000 people find jobs. So I think it's a great initiative. I was not able to be there, but certainly thank the governor for choosing our location to unveil that program. And he also said that the program was the first of its kind in the nation. So he's certainly working to help our citizens find jobs. And then lastly, I want to thank Blanquita Valenti, Freeholder, for asking me to become part of Coming Home of Middlesex County. We had a meeting on the 16th. I had a chance to speak. Other freeholders were there. Obviously, Freeholder Valenti, myself, Freeholder Polos, Rios, Barrett, and Millie Scott. And I'm sure she's going to report on that further, but I want to thank her for recommending me to become a member. So now I'm an official member of the Board of Directors of that organization. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Freeholder Ronald G. Rios.
Thank you, Director. As far as my report on health and education, as far as the Raritan Bay Mental Health Center, we continue to have an increase in caseloads, obviously, again, because of the economy, and we're hoping that when the economy starts to turn around, that caseload will decrease. And as far as the educational part, our Our VoC is back in school. All our schools are back in session. As far as the vocational school part, the Academy for Mathematics, Science, and Engineering Technology reported that 3 students have been notified that they were selected as Merit Scholar semifinalists. And one student was selected as a National Achievement Scholar semifinalist. Again, our vocational school system is a great system, and we have great things and great students coming out of there and furthering their education. As far as the Mosquito Commission, now that the fall season is here upon us, our mosquito population is decreasing, which is a plus. As far as the health report, I'm pleased to announce that on October 1st, Piscataway Township will be joining the 20 other communities currently served by the County Public Health Department. Piscataway will be contracting with our Public Health Department as part of a shared service initiative. Through the joint effort of the Mayor and Council of Piscataway and the Board of Chosen Freeholders, we were able to avoid duplication of services and provide cost-effective and efficient community-based public health services. Piscataway will be provided with epidemiology and public health preparedness, hazardous materials response, health education, inspection and nursing services and programs offered through the County Public Health Department, as well as all of our environmental programs. The County Health Department has a proud tradition of outstanding service to all of our residents, and this tradition will continue with the addition of the Piscataway Township, which will be a combined savings for the county and Piscataway of $250,000. Again, it's a great thing, especially in these hard and difficult economic times. Tonight, the board will be considering in a total of grants that we will be accepting over $500,000 with the New Jersey Department of Health. Tonight, we're going to have a PowerPoint presentation in reference to safe needle disposal. We felt that it was a good thing to do, a positive thing to do. It's a volunteer thing, and trying to make it easier for our residents, whether they're homebound or disabled, or it's just difficult to travel to the hospitals. And at this time, I would like to introduce for our PowerPoint presentation from our health, one of our health educators, Holly Robichaud. And I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Okay, I'm going to talk to you about how to safely dispose of syringes from home use. So the fact is that in the United States, 3 billion needles, syringes, and lancets are used per year. And in New Jersey alone, 700,000 needles are generated in home waste per day. Improper disposal can cause harm to people, pets, and wildlife, especially garbage collectors. They can also spread diseases if someone gets stuck with a needle from improper disposal. A little bit of history. In 1989, New Jersey made it law to regulate medical waste. And then in 2008, the Middlesex County Public Health Department, along with Solid Waste Management and Novo Nordisk, came up with a partnership to begin education about proper syringe disposal because it was such an important issue. There are 3 needle syringe disposal programs. The first one is for household waste, and the Middlesex County came up with a program for this. There are 4 steps in this method. The first step is to obtain a rigid container. So something like a laundry detergent container or a bleach bottle can be used, something that has a screw-on cap. Secondly, you must place a warning label on this container, and the Middlesex County Public Health Department can provide labels. There's a picture of the label on the screen, as well as I have a picture of it here. There are also labels up on the front corner for the public, and you can contact us to obtain labels for your containers at home. Next, the container must be tightly sealed with the original cap on, labeled, and then taped on top of the label. So place duct tape around the cap to make sure it's securely fastened. And the next step is to dispose of these containers in your regular household trash. You do not want to recycle. The next program is the hospital syringe disposal program. This is where you can obtain a container such as this one from your local hospital. Once you fill the container, you can return it to the hospital and they will provide you with a new one. So the next screen shows the participating hospitals in the local area. The next program is the physician program. You would have to discuss with your doctor whether or not he or she would be willing to take your syringes in a properly rigid container. So that would be up to your physician if they would dispose of the syringes for you. And any additional information, you can view these websites or you can call us at the health department. Also, again, if you want labels, we have the labels to provide you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good.
Director,
Yes.
I have a question to this
Yeah, go
young lady. If someone's homebound and they need to get the labels, is there, if they write to the health department, would the health department mail the labels back to them? If somebody's homebound and they need the labels?
They can call us and we can mail the labels to them.
Okay.
Sorry, any other questions?
Anybody else have questions? No?
We're gonna distribute them throughout the different towns. We're gonna purchase them. It's, again, it's on a volunteer basis, and it's just trying to make it more convenient for some of the people that may be homebound or disabled, or they just have difficulty getting to one of the hospitals, or one of their doctors, or their doctors is not a participating doctor. So again, it's a voluntary based program. And we're glad to start this. And again, it's another part of it is that it's a safety issue for the sanitation workers that pick up trash and put it in their trucks. So it's I think it's a double win for us, for everybody. Thank you, Holly. Oh,
Are
I'm
we
sorry.
going to contact the senior centers? Because often there's a lot of seniors that are diabetic or whatever, and may not know that there's such a program.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We've actually provided a program at a senior center in Carteret, and we can provide health education as well as the labels to senior centers.
Just a few more.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly.
Anybody else? Anything else?
Thank you, Director.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rios. Our next freeholder, Millie Escott. Millie?
Thank you, Freeholders Director. I have one report. Yesterday, Deputy Director Chris Rafano and myself attended a seminar in Elizabeth, and it was given by Homeland Security. It was a seminar on national preparedness should a disaster erupt through New Jersey, whether it be this county or any other county. And there were counties from Morris County, Union County, and I believe there was another county represented, as well as Middlesex County. And we kind of exchanged information as what each county does, and information to improve what we're doing right now in case a disaster should erupt, whether it be a flood, whether it be health issues, or whether it's we have to evacuate a certain area, what roads you would go to, and which means of travel, whether it be railroad or bus or whatever. And it was a very informative seminar, but I believe it was a seminar that each county individually is going to hold for themselves within the municipality in order to let the citizens of each county know what they should do in order to prepare for disaster. So it was an informative seminar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Millie. Freeholder, Blanquita Valenti.
Thank you, Freeholder Director. I have several announcements, and then I'll go into my report about coming home. This coming Saturday from 10 to 12 at the Woodbridge Community Center, we're holding a Veterans Forum with information and plenty of tables set up for veterans. of all ages. We've been having these, a couple of these a year, and this one will be this coming Saturday morning from 10 to 12. Everyone is welcome to come and find out what's takes place there. Also, next week, I want to remind all my colleagues on the Board of Freeholders and those that are here in attendance that the Department of Aging is holding again the Senior Health and Fitness Walk. And that will take place again, like last year at Roosevelt Park. It starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. The rain date is the next day. And there will be, like the last 2 years, blood pressure screenings, glucose screenings. There will be T-shirts given, like the one in the back of my chair, box lunches, raffles, giveaways, warm-up exercises by a group of Rutgers students, and there will be plenty of entertainment by WCTC. It's a great event if you can come, and I will let my colleagues on the Board of Freeholders know that some of these seniors walk a lot faster than some of us that we think we're younger. And they come with their canes, their walkers, a few with wheelchairs, and there are markers throughout the area of the park around the lake, a quarter of a mile, half a mile, and whatever they can do, that's great. Everybody will get a box lunch. Everybody will get a T-shirt and one of those little bags to take home. As of this morning, we're expecting 456 seniors to come, and I know that by next week it'll be 500 or over like last year. So you're all invited to come and participate. And there will be a short program around 11 a.m. in the morning because there is a stage set up, and every senior center brings a big basket full of goodies, and those are raffled off. So I invite all of you that are here to stop by and do a little exercise with me. God knows I need it badly. My second part of my report has to do with the event that Chris described yesterday. On the 16th at the Fire Academy in Sayreville. Coming Home of Middlesex County Incorporated is a 501c group that started, we finally got going this year. But as of 2007, we had initiated this because HUD not requested, but demanded that all human services departments throughout the state of New Jersey come up with a 10-year plan to end homelessness. This may sound ridiculous that we're going to be able to do that, but we're going to aim to do that. And the law was passed for a homeless trust fund, which we hope to introduce later before the end of the year, giving the counties the option to take part in this. We have a terrific board with 4 mayors, assemblymen. The 6 original co-chairs have done a fantastic job that bring people from industry, finance, the private and the public sector. And we have been able to gather money from various donations to get this agency or group off the ground. I want to thank all my freeholder colleagues that were there. Most of us were there yesterday at the 1-year annual meeting, and I'm happy to say that it was a very good turnout of people, many representatives from agencies and other parts of government and the private sector. And the goal is to establish 520 living units of affordable housing, not necessarily brand new, could be rehab over a 10-year period for those that are chronically homeless. And that includes not just single people, but it includes families, includes veterans, it includes people with disabilities. And we were very happy at the turnout and the fact that this is being backed by the Board of Freeholders. I know the freeholder, David Craviel, before he left us a year ago, or more, I should say at this point. I'm sorry, December 1st of '08. He was enthusiastic about it. He just didn't like the word homeless. But he realized that this involved an incredible number of people from our county. And now with the economic downturn, it's much more aggravated, especially a town like Perth Amboy. I believe they had 400 foreclosures. So the Perth Amboy mayor is part of our committee, and I want to thank all the freeholders, and I want to thank Freeholder Rafano for consenting to be on this board of directors. The chair of this group is Bob Mulcahy, the former Rutgers athletic director. The vice chair is Elizabeth Hans, the president of the Magyar Bank. And yours truly, I'm the secretary treasurer of this particular group. But we have a great group of people involved, and we thank the county support. I want to thank the Human Services Department that this came all out of, Tom Seilheimer, and of course Bridget Kennedy, who's the Division Director of Social Services for the County of Middlesex within the Department of Human Services. And that's the end of my report.
Okay, thank you, Freeholder. As director to the Freeholder Board, I have the honor of starting off the State of the County message. As Middlesex County Freeholder Director, it gives me pleasure to present to you the state and of the county address for 2009. These 12 months have challenged Americans like no others before. And we are experiencing perhaps the worst economic time since the Great Depression. Despite this challenge, Middlesex County remains strong and steadfast in its commitment to serving our residents while lessening the tax burden on them. With the mind and holding to the structured financial principles set by our late freeholder, David B. Crabiel, the Board of Freeholders have taken a hard look at the county operating budget. We have worked closely with our department heads and their staff to reduce the 2009 budget below the 2008 level. We placed a freeze on the non-essential hirees and have eliminated 15 positions through attrition. We have negotiated many of our union contracts, which have no salary increase for 2009. I thank those union leaders and their entire staff for recognizing the financial strains we are under for helping to avoid forced layoffs. It is a tribute to our county workers. At this time, I will turn over the rest of the State of the County message and introduce Deputy Director Christopher D. Rafana, who will present the key accomplishments received by each county 2009.
Thank you, Director. As Chairman of the Administration and Finance Committee, I am pleased to report that the county expanded the family courthouse, adding 2 courtrooms, a hearing room, an office, and conference space on the 4th floor. The Department of Workforce Development provided free training for over 700 residents with federal and state funds. Using federal stimulus funds, the department employed over 280 youths this past summer. Middlesex County has applied for $14.5 million in federal stimulus funds to improve our telecommunications services to support public safety agencies and schools. This potentially would produce annual savings of $500,000 in reduced telecommunications cost. Under the leadership of Freeholder Carol Barrett, Chair of the county's Engineering and Planning Committee, the county has received $1 million from New Jersey's Transportation Enhancement Program to complete the Middlesex County Greenway, a walk and bike path that will connect Metuchen, Edison, and Woodbridge. We are actively pursuing 1,100 acres to be added to our open space preservation program. Sites include the 200-acre Polda Farm in South Brunswick and the Cottrell Farm in Old Bridge. We also have been able to save 5,000 acres in our farmland preservation program. The Housing Department's American Dream First Time Home Buyers program helped 68 families purchase their first home. The County Engineering Department received $14.2 million in federal stimulus funds to resurface 18 county roads and install or improve guardrails throughout the county. Middlesex County remains the only county to surpass the state's mandated 60% recycling rate for 11 of the 13 years the mandates have existed. Under the direction of Freeholder H. James Polos, Chair of the county's Public Works and Transportation Committee, the county completed an energy audit on all the buildings at the Apple Orchard Lane complex in North Brunswick to reduce energy costs and become more efficient. To support and expand the county's green efforts, the county has completed the Middlesex County Sustainability Plan, the first county plan in the state. An interactive website for the plan will be online this fall. The county also coordinated the Vehicle Washing Facility Initiative through the Shared Services Department. This will save participating municipalities money and protect the environment. The department also will be announcing the creation of a shared services portal, which will provide municipalities, agencies, authorities, and school districts the ability to get the best contracted prices for goods and services through an interactive pricing database. The Transportation Department expanded the use of hybrid sedans and sport utility vehicles. A total of 60 hybrid vehicles will be in operation by the end of the year. Under the leadership of Freeholder Ronald G. Rios, Chair of the county's Public Health and Education Committee, the county is celebrating the construction of a new teaching facility at Middlesex County College that will follow strict rules for LEED certification. The Public Health Department's first ever pancreatic cancer walk drew more than 150 participants and raised $1,606 for pancreatic cancer research. The Middlesex County Public Health Department has dedicated a great deal of time, effort, and resources to prepare against the potential H1N1 influenza pandemic. It has developed a more efficient model for distributing vaccine and is working with school districts throughout the county on a program to vaccinate school children as outlined by the Centers for Disease Control. Under the direction of Freeholder Mildred Scott, Chair of the county's Law and Public Safety Committee, Middlesex County entered into an agreement with Monmouth County to share medical examiner services, which resulted in a shared savings of $195,893. The County Fire Marshal's Office has secured over $1 million in state and federal grants to train public safety personnel and to purchase a rescue vehicle and specialized equipment. The Department of Corrections and the Department of Youth Services were combined to streamline county government and to increase efficiency. The county was awarded $1.5 million in federal Homeland Security grants for fiscal year 2009. The bulk of the funds will be used by the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office to create an intelligence and information sharing system for law enforcement. The Surrogates Court generated $809,693 in revenue for Middlesex County and opened 2 more satellite offices to better serve Middlesex County residents. The Division of Weights and Measures, which monitors fuel pumps, meters, gasoline octane levels, price scanners, and deli and supermarket scales, brought in fines that totaled $352,893. Under the leadership of Freeholder Blanquita B. Valente, Chair of the county's Human Services and Aging Committee, the Human Services Department funded the Clean Slate program, which will give youngsters suspected of minor crimes a second chance to stay out of trouble while easing the number of cases going to family court. The County Department of Human Services sponsored a forum for professionals on issues surrounding young women and girls and their interactions with the juvenile justice system. One of the results of the harsh economic times the nation is facing is the growing demand for emergency food. As liaison to McFoods, Freeholder Valente has helped create partnerships in the community to bring more food into the county food bank. The Department on Aging was allocated $205,667 in federal stimulus funds. The additional funds helped to serve 822 new clients with 3,724 meals in the first month alone. Under the direction of our Freeholder Director, Stephen J. Pitalina, who is Chair of the Parks and Recreation Committee, the reconstruction of Donaldson Park and Highland Park has been completed, and residents have been enjoying the new and improved fields, basketball courts, playground, and walking and biking paths. The county's 20th park, a 25-acre site that will feature a turf field at the border of North Brunswick and Milltown, is about 70% complete. Hundreds of residents continue to enjoy our free summer concerts in the Park Series this year and the Labor Day weekend doo-wop spectacular at Roosevelt Park. Plays in the park once again packed in thousands at the Stephen J. Campestro Theater. The Cultural and Heritage Commission is making county history more portable with Uncommon History podcasts. Stories are placed on the Commission's website as MP3 files. New podcasts are created monthly. Finally, the Purchasing Department continues to operate the Middlesex County Cooperative Pricing Program, whose 40 members save thousands of dollars from jointly purchasing supplies. I congratulate and commend each of my Freeholder colleagues and the entire county workforce for the accomplishments that have been made this past year. As we look forward, we will continue to study ways to lessen the burden on the county taxpayer while maintaining our impressive lineup of programs and services. We will continue to develop new revenue streams. We will continue to ensure that our residents are safe in their neighborhoods and have access to only the best recreational and education opportunities. Most importantly, we will continue to serve the residents of Middlesex County to the best of our ability and dedicate ourselves to ensuring that, in the words of the beloved Dave Crabiel, Middlesex County remains the greatest county in the land. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Freeholder. At this time, I discussed the motion. If we can make a motion to put this into our minutes. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Rafano, second by Ron Rios. Everybody will have a vote, roll call vote, please.
Freeholder Barrett,
Yes.
Freeholder Polos,
Yes.
Freeholder Rafano,
Yes.
Freeholder Rios,
Yes.
Freeholder Scott,
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Delina.
Yes, okay. At this time, we're going to deviate from the regular order of business to conduct one public hearing and introduce one ordinance. Clerk?
Notice of this public hearing was advertised in the Home News Tribune on August 24th, September 4th, and September 8th, 2009. This public hearing was authorized at a meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders held on August 20th, 2009.
The clerk will read resolution number 091509 by title only.
Intent to vacate 0.176 plus or minus acres of county road right-of-way of Woodbridge Carteret Road in the township of Woodbridge. Authorized public hearing to be held on September 17th, 2009 at 7 p.m. in the Freeholders meeting room. Authorized clerk of the board to place requisite public notice in the newspaper.
I declare the public hearing open. Anybody would like to say anything on this resolution? Anybody would like to speak on it? Motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Rafano, second by Ron Rios. All in favor say aye.
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 I didn't hear. Look, can you say it a little louder, please?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Anybody opposed? Yes,
Yes,
Counselor, what would you like to say now?
Freeholder Director, the Freeholders will take no further action on this resolution. It will be considered for adoption under resolution number 09-1677, which is on our consent agenda this evening.
Thank you, sir. Okay, and the clerk will read ordinance number 385 by title only.
Bond ordinance providing for the undertaking of 2009 capital improvements at and for certain facilities of Middlesex County College located within the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $2,353,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,353,000 bonds or notes of the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, for financing such appropriation. The principal of and interest on the aggregate principal amount of which will be entitled to state aid pursuant to Chapter 12 of the Laws of New Jersey of 1971, and authorizing the public hearing to be held on Thursday, October 1, 2009, at 7 p.m. and publication thereof.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 385 on first reading?
Motion.
Motion by Rafano.
Second.
Second by Ron Rios. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Freeholder Barrett,
Yes.
Freeholder Polos,
Yes.
Freeholder Rafano,
Yes.
Freeholder Rios,
Yes.
Freeholder Scott,
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Delina.
Yes. Is there a motion to resume the regular order of business?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Rafano, second by Ron Rios. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nobody opposed, so that's great. Proclamation, commencement resolution, and correspondence. Madam Clerk, are there any commencement resolutions this evening?
Yes. Proclamations recognizing September 17 through 23, 2009 as Constitution Week in Middlesex County. Recognizing September 23 as Falls Prevention Day in Middlesex County. And the commemorative resolutions are recognizing the 45th anniversary of Middlesex County College and recognizing Brother Lawrence C. Hopkins of Piscataway as he is named Grand Worthy Patron by the Oziel Grand Chapter, Order of the Eastern Star, Prince Hall affiliation for the jurisdiction of New Jersey Incorporated.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to adopt the commemorative resolutions?
Motion.
Motion by Rufano, seconded by Ron Rehos. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Freeholder Barrett,
Yes.
Freeholder Polos,
Yes.
Freeholder Rufano,
Yes.
Freeholder Rios,
Yes.
Freeholder Scott,
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Delina.
Thank you. Yes. Madam Clerk, is there any correspondence?
Yes.
Is there a motion to accept the correspondence?
She has to read it first.
Oh, you didn't read? I'm sorry. I'm looking at. I know. You know, you're doing a great
I'll
job.
be quick.
I'll take the blame for that, all right?
Okay, a copy of the minutes of the regular public meeting of the Board of Education of the Vocational Schools in Middlesex County, which was held on August 12, 2009. A copy of a resolution from the Borough of Shrewsbury requesting that New Jersey Transit use the omnibus appropriation funding to officially include the Monmouth Junction Station Platform Connection Alternative and the South Amboy Alternative in the draft environmental impact study as two new potential alternatives to provide passenger rail service to central New Jersey. Copy of a resolution from Mercer County supporting legislation to regulate the operation of snowmobiles, all-terrain vehicles, and dirt bikes, and certain other vehicles and off-road vehicles. Notice to Public Service Electric and Gas Company customers for filing and public hearings for basic generation service charges. It will be held September 24th, 2009 at 1 p.m. in the Middlesex County Administration Building. Notice to Jersey Central Power and Light Company customers of filing and public hearings for basic generation service charges, which will be held September 25, 2009 at 1 p.m. in the Morris County Administration and Records Building. Copy of the minutes from the Board of Education of Vocational Schools in the County of Middlesex from the special public meetings held June 24, 2009 at 4 and 7 p.m. and the regular public meeting held July 14, 2009.
Okay, thank you, Madam. Is there a motion to accept the correspondence?
Motion.
Motion by Rufano, second by Ron Rehos. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nobody opposed? Okay. Is there a motion to accept the minutes of the meeting of September 3rd?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Rufano, second by Ron Rehos. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Are there any resolutions to be amended?
Yes, Freeholder Director, Resolution 09-1645, which is the personnel report. There is a proposed amendment which was circulated, which involves several new hires associated with two things. One with regard to a resolution which is proposed for addition, and another with regard to an additional seasonal hire for the prosecutor's office.
That's it?
Yes,
Okay.
we need a motion.
I need a motion for them to be accepted. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Rufano, second by Ron Rios. Everybody in favor say aye.
Do a roll call on that.
Roll call vote.
Do a roll call vote.
Freeholder Barrett,
Yes.
Freeholder Polos,
Present not voting.
Freeholder Rufano,
Yes.
Freeholder Rios,
Yes.
Freeholder Scott,
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Delina,
Okay.
Freeholder Director Delina.
Yes. Is there any resolutions to be added?
Yes, Freeholder Director, we have one resolution proposed for addition, and that is to authorize the execution of health services contract with the Township of Piscataway for provision of public health services for the period of October the 1st, 2009 through December 31st, 2011 for $375,000 per year, allocated for 2009 of $93,750.
We need a motion.
Motion and
Motion.
Motion.
Motion
Second.
by Rufano, second by
Rios.
Ron Rios. We need a vote. on
Roll
that.
call,
Roll
yes.
call vote.
Freeholder Barrett,
Yes.
Freeholder Polos.
Present, not voting.
Freeholder Rafano.
Yes.
Freeholder Rios.
Yes.
Freeholder Scott.
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Dolina.
Yes, there's no void, there's no void.
No, we have to hold, though.
Yeah. Okay, is there any resolutions to be held?
Yes, Freeholder Director, we have three resolutions proposed to be held at the current time by Freeholder Valenti. Those are the resolutions 09-1680, 09-1681, and 09-1682 with regard to various appointments and reappointments to the Middlesex County Hispanic Advisory Commission. They are going to be held for one meeting, and they'll be reissued for the
Okay.
next meeting.
Okay, good. Any resolutions to be voided? None?
There are none.
None, okay. I will open the meeting now to the public discussion on any resolution on the agenda. Would anybody like to speak? Anybody like to say anything? Yes?
Mr. Stewart.
Richard Stewart, 90 Nielsen Street, New Brunswick. Just a question on this, on Freeholder Scott's, the new hire for the prosecutor's office. They give a hourly rate. When you do that, and not just this one, but any of these, is there any total limit, or is there any not to exceed or something?
This is usually when the student assistance is 21 hours. In this case, it's 14 to 21 hours.
Okay, so there is a limit, there's a ceiling on it. The other item I have, these Freeholder Valenti appointments that are on hold. I just want to ask, and this will give maybe a chance to check, are any of these people by chance registered Republicans?
Blanquita?
I don't know. We don't ask people what they are or they're not. These were recommended by mayors of the towns that have the most Hispanics.
Okay.
I
Is it
don't ask
possible?
them whether
Would it
they
be,
are-
I know you may not, you personally may not, but I'm just curious whether any Republicans ever get appointed to any of these.
Well, we didn't look at their political affiliations. We just, these were people that were recommended because they represent towns or there's a
Would I be
considerable number of
surprised if,
Hispanics.
would I be surprised if none of them are Republicans?
Maybe, I don't know. There may be one of them. I have no idea, Mr. Stewart. That has not been a question that's asked of these.
Why don't you call the county clerk and she'll
Candidates.
give you maybe the, what the Republicans or Democrats?
I don't know.
Ms.
You have a
Flynn?
list of the voting registers, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Give them a call.
Just every once in a while, I'm curious about something like
Oh, no,
that.
yes, you have the right.
Yeah, I'm not, I might not be happy with the Republicans that they nominated,
That's the first
But-
time I heard you say that.
but I'm curious if they even got a chance to show up. All right, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else would like to say anything on the floor? Motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
Second by Rios. Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Is there any freeholders that have any resolutions that wish to be removed from the consent agenda and vote separately?
Yes, I do. I'm sorry, somewhere in here. I'm sorry, I don't have my eyeglasses. Wait. Mr.
If I
Kelso.
might, Freeholder Valenti, I have
Please do.
your list. Freeholder Valenti would like to exclude resolutions 09-1652 and 09-1669.
60, 69.
Thank you, Mr. Kelso.
Need a motion?
That's just
Oh, that-
exclusion.
Just for the, we need a motion?
Well, we'll know if anyone else needs to.
Does anybody else need anything else on the agenda? Nobody?
I don't.
Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Rafano.
Second.
Second by Ron Rios. Do we need a roll call vote?
I need to read the
Read the
motion.
resolution.
At this time, then, a motion would be in order to adopt the consent agenda consisting of resolutions number 09-1625 through 09-1686, excluding resolutions 09-1680, 09-1681, and 09-1682 to be held, and resolutions 09-1652 and 09-1669 to be voted upon separately.
Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Rufano, second by Rios. Do we need a roll call?
Roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
Freeholder Barrett,
Yes.
Freeholder Polos,
Yes.
Freeholder Rafano,
Yes.
Freeholder Rios,
Yes.
Freeholder Scott,
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti,
Present not voting.
Freeholder Director Delina.
Yes, okay.
Freeholder Director, now would be appropriate to consider resolutions 09-1652 and 09-1669, which were excluded by Freeholder Valenti. We need a roll call vote on that.
Roll call, motion first.
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Rufano, second by thing. Roll call vote.
Freeholder Barrett,
Yes.
Freeholder Polos,
Yes.
Freeholder Rafano,
Yes.
Freeholder Rios,
Yes.
Freeholder Scott,
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti,
Present not voting.
Freeholder Director Delina.
Yes. Okay.
I believe Freeholder Polis at this time.
Jimmy, you have some?
Just to do the presentation.
You okay?
Laura, could you come and join me?
Are you okay?
What is he presenting?
Earlier this evening, we adopted this resolution recognizing the achievements and accomplishments of a great woman from Highland Park, Vicki White, who lost her life on July 1st, 2009. We're very pleased to have Laura White, her sister, here tonight. And I just wanted to take a couple of minutes and just paraphrase from the resolution to tell the public that Vicki was a very unique individual. She was a type of person, I knew her personally. I knew her politically, socially, in many ways. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if you know this or not, but I saw her about a month, I guess it must have been in May, around May, at a restaurant in New Brunswick. She came in with a couple of other people for dinner. We were there, and we got to laugh and kid around a little bit and hug and kiss and talk about old times and talk about, even though we used to disagree on some things, how it was never personal. When I was mayor, Vicki was an outspoken voice in Highland Park about many issues that she was concerned about, not only in our community and civil rights and proper treatment of people, but on a national basis about war, about peace in our country. She believed in many, many things, and she was the type of person that executed very, very well. Very well respected. Became a member of the Board of Education, a master board member, very involved in our community in developing new organizations. Took a contingent to New Orleans to rebuild the 9th Ward, 9th District in New Orleans. Took 25 people down there, spent an enormous amount of time and her own money to do that. Never looked for credit. This was not a woman who came back and wanted a newspaper article written about her or a headline, didn't sit for a photo op, never spoke about herself, but more of what she could do for the people. She was very vocal. Right? She was very vocal. And I say that affectionately because I used to get that every once in a while as the mayor. But I respected what she was saying because she believed in what she said. And we didn't have to agree all the time. And a lot of times we didn't. But I respected that she really spoke so well and eloquently for the people. And one thing I'll never forget, and I told her this, we were in Stop and Shop. You know, when you're in a little town, I'm sure the freeholders and elected officials understand this. When you're in a little town, you meet everybody in the local food market and you end up talking about what might be going on. It was about 4 years ago. She and I saw each other in Stop and Shop and we started to chat. And I told her that my children at that time were a little bit younger, but they were already in public schools. And I made a comment to her, which I'll share with you now, and she smiled and gave me a hug. And I said, you know, I never really understood why you were so vocal when you were on the board. And there were times when I saw you either in a meeting or on TV, and I said, what is she vocalizing about? Why is she being so strong-minded about those issues? And it was because I couldn't understand. I didn't have children in the school. But at that point in time, when I saw her in the supermarket, I said, now I know what you were talking about. And I told her, I just have to tell you, there's a major void by not having you on the board advocating for kids of all kind, advocating for the kids in the shadows, advocating for the ones who were the most needy. Yes. And that was really her goal. And I told her we missed her because of that. and there was a void that would not be filled without having her on that board. So Vicky's a great woman, always will be remembered in my heart and the hearts of many. A very blessed woman who believed in the Almighty and doing the right thing for people. So she deserves recognition from this board, recognition from the people, and on behalf of the Freeholder Board, I want to present this with you, and please feel free to say anything that you'd like.
Excuse me, I apologize. I just want to say thank you to all of you on behalf of the White family for honoring my sister. She was just not my sister, she was my best friend. And when she left this earth on July 1st, it was so sudden and no one expected it. No one. So this is an honor for me to come in here and to accept this from you guys. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I also want to express that my mother couldn't be here this evening. She's really not well. The sudden death has really done some things to her. So I accept this on behalf of the White family. And again, I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for giving us this. This means so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I will open the floor to the public. Would anybody would like to say of anything? Anybody? Motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Rafael, second by Ron Rios. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Freeholder Director,
Yes.
just want to make one comment. For those who are not aware, Margaret Pemberton, who isn't here tonight, mom is pretty ill, so I ask you to keep her in your prayers. And secondly, I just want to thank Shannon Stoms for coming and stepping in and doing a very good job. So
Shannon.
thank you, Shannon.
Very good.
Very good.
Very good. Okay. At this time, we'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Rufano, second by Ron Rios. Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.